does. Right. Why don't you do rhinoplasty procedures? Is it the preference of the surgeon, or are they not qualified to do nose procedures? I like this sort of question. I get stuck in. And do you know why I get stuck into this sort of question, Kim? Do you know why? Well, I'll tell you why. That's why, Kim. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? That's why. Because I've written a book about this stuff. You know, are they not qualified to do nose procedures? I've got to be honest with you, people, public, right? Members of the public here. Newsflash here. You don't have to be qualified to do a nose procedure. Fact. Anyone can do a nose procedure. Right? There's no thing that says you need to have a certain whatever to do a nose procedure. Therefore, anyone can do nose procedures. I can do nose procedures. ENT surgeons can do nose procedures. General surgeons can do nose procedures. Max Fax surgeons can do nose procedures. Even heart surgeon. If you wanted to, and as long as he didn't say to you he's a nose surgeon, if he said I'm a heart surgeon, but I'll do your nose procedure, GPs can do nose procedures, dermatology, anyone. This is a problem, people. That's why I've written the book. There is no law or nothing stopping anyone doing anything. And one of the problems, particularly with plastic surgery, is that because it is quite popular in the private sector, all sorts of people do it. So never mind people who aren't qualified to do nose procedures. First of all, there's no qualification in nose procedures, so there isn't such a thing. There's a qualification in plastic surgery, but it's people who aren't even qualified in plastic surgery will do it, can do it. There's nothing to stop them. So I do think it is a bit of a shocker when you think about it, that there is no real law or anything stopping anyone doing anything. Now, if you go to one of the big private hospitals, your Spire, your BMI, they do restrict the surgeons that can work there. So you have to be on the specialist register for something. So you have to be a specialist in something, whether that be heart surgery or ENT surgery or general surgery or plastic surgery. So that at least if you go to one of those hospitals, Ramsey, BMI, Spire, that surgeon has finished their training and is fully trained in something. But you could have a surgeon that is trained in hand surgery, or at least that their subspecialty, plastic surgeon whose subspecialty interest is hands, doing breasts, doing noses, doing, tummy tucks. So in answer to your question, it is not because we are not qualified to do nose procedures. We are all qualified to do nose procedures because we're all consultant plastic surgeons who have finished our training and can happily do nose procedures. Well, I wouldn't happily do it. I'd be quite unhappy to do it, but the others would be happy to do it. The main reason why we don't do rhinoplasty is two things. First of all, I think the clinic is focused on breast and body, and we are specialists in breast and body. We are not generalists. If you want Botox, we do Botox at the clinic, but if you want, Botox and nose and facelifts and etc., that is not our specialty. Go to someone that's their specialty. And the second thing is, particularly for nose procedures or rhinoplasty, it is a very nuanced area. It's a very difficult area, if you like. I always say to people, there's no such thing as a difficult operation. There's operations you can do and operations you can't do, and if you can't do it, it's difficult. But it's something that you really don't want someone who just dabbles. You want someone who's experienced in nose procedures, really, or in rhinoplasties. I don't know why I'm calling it nose procedures, just because the question said it. I don't know. You want someone who's experienced in rhinoplasties to do it, and so that's why we don't really do rhinoplasty. Breast and body, come on in. Nose, not so much. But that's why. but it is a shocker in terms of the qualified question, because yeah, if I wanted to just say I'll do noses, I'll do eyes, I'll do facelifts, I can do anything I want. I don't need a certificate or a most people think, oh, you need a certificate or a training in nose procedures. No, you don't. You don't need nothing. I mean, God, don't start me on Botox. Are you going to start me on Botox? Fillers. Oh my good God. You don't need anything. You don't need anything to do your Botox and your fillers. Now, if you're going to work in a CQC registered facility, then hopefully they would have some checks, but everyone and his uncle is doing those sorts of things. So that's even worse than surgery, to be honest with you. That the non-surgical world, that is, I am sorry to say, the wild, wild west. Surgical procedures is bad enough, but the non-surgicals is. So my thing has always been, a lot of people say they should legislate, there should be a law to say that only nose people should do nose procedures, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that, but there isn't one, and I don't know when there's one coming. So I would say what I'm doing is I'm educating. That's what I'm doing right here, guys. I am trying to educate the public to say, look, anyone can do a nose procedure. Just because they got a white coat and they're in a nice building and they look nice, and they might even call themselves plastic surgeons. They can call themselves plastic surgeons even if they're not plastic surgeons. I see it all the time. So you've got to educate yourself. You've got to do your research. You've got to look for the training, look to see if they're on the specialist register with a GMC, which you can check on. It's just the problem stuff. It's not easy to do. It's not difficult, but you have to go to the GMC website, put their GMC number in, or their name. If they've got a funny name like me, you'll be all right. But if they've got, if they've got a normal name, you might need their GMC number. We're all encouraged to share our GMC numbers. It's nothing secret, so you should be able to ask them what their GMC number is. But you need to do your research. You need to see what is your niche, what do you specialize in. Can I see some results, some of your results of surgery? You need to be aware, and you need to ask the questions. I checked your number. 411-7214 is my number. Okay, my GMC number, 411-7214. But as I say, Staiano, I don't think there's many Staianos out there.